Night number one of the NFL draft is in the books. We've got the Alabama Allen Park Crimson Tide.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, everybody? Matt Derry with you. It is the Locked On Lions on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day on a late night, Thursday night, night one of the NFL draft, April 25th and a Friday, April 26th. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcast. Thank you to our everydayers that are out there. And those of you that watch on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel and subscribe, we appreciate you doing so. That includes some everydayers, including some folks I met tonight on the streets of Detroit, walking through the streets, getting ready for the draft tonight. I was downtown. What an amazing, amazing show our city put on tonight. But was walking around and was in my suit, which you're seeing me wearing right now. I was wearing my Jordans. And Erica Wambecky says, nice shoes. I got a chance to talk to her husband, Scott Van Wambecky, Erica Van Wambecky, and their friends Mike and Lisa McCormick. Shout out to them, everydayers that watch and listen right here on Locked On Lions. We are proudly brought to you by our friends at Monopoly Go here tonight. I admit it, I got a competitive side, and I'm a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on classic Monopoly. Join your friends and download Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store or Google Play. The Lions' first pick is in. No, Detroit does not pick at 29. Brad Holmes gets aggressive and goes from 29 to 24 and trades with the Cowboys and gives up the Lions' third-round pick in this draft tomorrow night in exchange for number 24 and a seventh-round pick next year. The Lions looked at the board. Dallas got to 24, and the Lions said, we got to move up, and we got to go get who we think is the best cornerback in this draft, Terrion Arnold from Alabama. First-team All-American, first-team All-SEC, unbelievable football character, a great, great kid, raised by his mother. Every interview that this kid has done over the last few weeks and months has been so positive. He's got a shining personality, and he can really play football. And the Lions said, we got to move up and get him, and that's what they do. So Detroit goes out and gets Terrion Arnold, and that's the pick tonight as the crowd went nuts. He grabbed the microphone. It was amazing. And that's your newest Detroit Lion coming in at number 24 tonight as the Lions make this very, very aggressive move. Follow us on Twitter at Derry Speaks, at Locked On Lions on Twitter, Matt Derry Facebook fan page. And again, thank you for subscribing and watching on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. What a scene in Detroit tonight. 275,000 people in the city, right there at Campus Martius in Greektown, by the stage, beyond the stage. I was up at Highlands tonight having dinner, and I looked down upon the city from the 71st floor of the Rensen, and I just was like, man, was this awesome. This town showed up, showed out, Lions jerseys everywhere. I saw a lot of Bengal jerseys, a lot of Bears jerseys, actually. But yes, there were a lot of out-of-towners in, but we should be proud of the show that we put on tonight. And the Lions should be proud of what they've done. Because you look up and you say, all right, as we're watching the draft unfold tonight, what did we notice? Defensive players weren't getting taken. Offense, quarterback, offensive linemen, tons of linemen, Brock Bowers at tight end. You look up and you go, wait a minute. Has there been a defensive player taken? The Colts take Latu, the edge from UCLA, and you're like, wait a minute. We're getting closer to 29 where the Lions are picking. And not a single cornerback had been taken until Quinyon Mitchell was. And then, again, you go, there's a lot of really good football players, especially on the defensive side of the ball, still available. And I didn't think the Lions were going to trade up. I thought they'd be trading down, if anything else. But GM Brad Holmes said tonight, and he's right, he was speechless. It got 5 picks away. Dallas on the clock at 24. Cowboys, we know we're looking for offensive line help. probably could get the guy they wanted in Guyton from Oklahoma later on. And it was a trade. It was a win-win for both teams. Dallas gets a 3rd round pick from the Lions, and the Lions get to move up and make sure that Terrion Arnold, who they felt was the best corner in this draft, even better than Quinyon Mitchell, was not going to go to Green Bay with the 25th pick. Not saying they C-blocked the Packers, but the Lions were like, we got to get up here, move up a little bit, get aggressive, and go out and get a player that fits a need, is a fit, and they loved. And that's exactly what they did. Terrion Arnold last year had 5 interceptions. He can really tackle. He's not the biggest guy, and he's not the fastest guy. All right? You look at his combine 40-yard dash, and you say 4.5. But I want you to do yourselves a favor, Lions fans. Go on YouTube, whether it's late night tonight, tomorrow morning, Friday morning, whatever. Type in Terrion Arnold and watch his interviews that he's done, whether it's with Rich Eisen with the NFL Network, whether it's Stacey Dales. These interviews that he does, you can see why the Lions loved him. They had him visit at Allen Park. They talked to him at the Combine, and they were at his pro day. And there's something about Alabama players that attracts Brad Holmes to Tuscaloosa. A few years ago was J-Mo. Last year was Jahmyr Gibbs. Now it's Terrion Arnold. The kid fits the bill. He's really good. He's got great ball skills. 5 interceptions last year. He's gotten better every year. He works hard. He wants to be great. He's got a little edge to him. All right. We watch Aiden Hutchinson play. There's an edge to him. You see some of the confidence, right, that a Brian Branch plays with, or an Alex Anzalone. Kirby Joseph's got some swag. That's what this kid has. He's not cocky. He's just confident. And when you look at the situation with the cornerbacks, I wasn't sure the Lions were going to go there at 29. Don't get me wrong. But with Cam Sutton gone, Amik Robertson's a good football player that they got from the Raiders, but is he a starter? Do you know he can play every down? Emmanuel Mosley coming back from another torn ACL. Carlton Davis on the last year of his contract. They love Carlton Davis. They traded for him for a reason. They're going to pay him $13 million for a reason. But to get your future shutdown, number 1 corner, and to move up 5 spots to be aggressive and go do it is something I completely understand. You do. Last year, NFC Championship game, Debo started getting loose. Brandon Ayuk making plays. You want to have as many corners as possible. Brad Holmes has said he values that position. And I just think the Lions looked up and said, let's get on the phone with Jera and the Cowboys and make this happen. We don't want to let Terrion Arnold slip through the cracks. Could they have taken Cooper DeJean or Nate Wiggins or one of these other cornerbacks later on? Absolutely, they could have. But they felt Arnold was number 1 on their board. And they were very, very steadfast about it. They mentioned it after the pick tonight when they were on the podium down in Allen Park. I mentioned before, Deshae Townsend, the secondary coach, said he's a corner. Yes, he played a little safety when he started his career in college, but this guy is a cornerback. And the Lions went out and snagged him. A little bit of a steep price, giving up a 3rd round pick for tomorrow. But again, the Lions feel like they got themselves a stud tonight. And because of the depth that they have, because of the improvements that they've made, because they won 14 games last year, maybe it's not about accumulating picks. We saw the aggressiveness of Brad Holmes tonight to go get a player they love. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. Last time the Lions took a cornerback in the 1st round, it was Jeff Okudah. Sure, I get that. It was also the previous regime, which sucked. We're talking about draft Holmes. 23 players picked. 22 of them still on the roster. So I like it. I like the aggressive nature. I like the fact the Lions said we graded him out as our best, as the best corner. We can't wait anymore. Let's move up. Let's give up some assets, a third rounder, and let's go get them and be aggressive. That's exactly what they did. This is a team whose goal is to get to the Super Bowl. So if you want to do that, you got to be aggressive. That's exactly what this organization did tonight. We'll have more on this pick. We got to go over some possibilities for tomorrow. The Lions will be drafting 61 in round 2. We will do all of that coming up next, right here on Locked On Lions. Locked On Lions brought to you by our friends at Monopoly Go. Again, I've mentioned this before. My wife is a competitive person, all right? Very competitive. She loves playing games. She likes going up against other people online. And she's become a big fan of Monopoly Go. You've heard about it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you play on not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big money. But the best part is messing with her friends. My wife can charge them rent on their iconic properties, just like classic Monopoly, heist their vaults of riches for herself, and the leaderboards show her who the biggest Monopoly tycoon is. It's not just a competitive side to it. You team up with friends and have some fun as well and earn huge rewards. So get in the game, join your friends, download Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store or at Google Play. And hey, what about those of you that are putting some money down in the draft, maybe odds, everything else? You can do all of it. Playoffs in the NBA, NHL, NFL draft stuff. FanDuel is a place you can bet on every single game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and proud sponsor of the Locked On Podcast Network. All right, everybody, here we are. Night number 1 of the NFL draft is in the books. Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcast. Got to give a shout out to John Eads, Baton Rouge TV, former U of D Jesuit Cub. I saw his dad, John, the third tonight, his younger brother, Colin. Great family. John's covers LSU football. He was in town for the draft and is a Locked On Lions P1 as well. So a lot of shout outs tonight. Thanks to our everydayers who check us out. Vanessa and Michael. I'm going to try to see you guys tomorrow if possible. These are big Lions fans as well that have come in from down south. What an event tonight downtown. Seriously. I just could not believe the amount of people down there. It was so much fun. And Detroit should be proud. From what I've heard, and again, I'm recording here late night, but seemed to have gone well. And the Lions get their man in Terrion Arnold. Here's the other thing about Arnold. I love the improvement every year. I love the fact that he works, puts the work in. Started early in his career at Alabama, kind of played some safety and corner, got benched, and learned from it. And got better each and every year to the point that his junior year this past season, he was all SEC. He was an All-American. Mentioned before, 5 interceptions. And when you're playing against the best, like Bama does, and I guess I saw an interview that Arnold did a couple weeks ago. He was talking about Nick Saban. Nick Saban came to recruit him, and it was during COVID, so you couldn't make any home visits. So Saban went to his church, to Arnold's church or his school down in Florida, and almost was speaking to him kind of with social distancing and just said, look, you want to play against the best, you want to be the best, and you want to get to that best level, of course, which is the NFL, you come play for me at Alabama. And that's exactly what he did. And football character has come up numerous times with people that I've talked to tonight. They love his football character. They love the work ethic. And Holmes and Campbell have said this numerous times. They're not going to just draft the best players. They're going to draft players that fit the Lions. And you look at that cornerback room now and you feel really, really good about it. You know, I was mentioning before, weeks ago. Lions need another corner. What about Stephon Gilmore? What about adding to that cornerback room with Stephen Gilmore, Khalil Dorsey, Davis, Robertson, guys, all those guys, Vildor, Mosley when he's healthy. Lions did that tonight. They went out and got who they thought was the best cover corner in this draft, and they got him at 24. The board fell their way. What are the Atlanta Falcons doing? They signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year, $180 million deal, and they draft Michael Penix at number 8. And God bless Michael Penix. I'm a fan. I think Michael Penix is a good quarterback. When's he going to play? At number 8, that's your pick? You know, Minnesota goes and gets J.J. McCarthy and Dallas Turner, and I'm sure everybody in Minnesota is going absolutely ballistic because those are two big names and everything else. But the Lions felt like, for them, this was the move. And we'll go over some players that are available for tomorrow, through this first round. But there were some definitely head-scratching picks, to say the least. But the Atlanta pick at number 8. And you knew Harbaugh with the Chargers was taking an offensive lineman at 5. All these folks that felt like, nope, they're going to take Malik Neighbors or whatever. No. The Chargers need receivers. They're desperate. But Jim Harbaugh is going to build that team around the O-line, just like how he built Michigan football. So some of those picks were certainly surprises tonight. Lions will go into tomorrow night with pick number 61 in the second round. And as of right now, no third round pick, no fourth round pick, couple of fifth rounders, a 6th and a 7th. And they acquired a 7th round pick in next year's draft from Dallas to make that move. And don't think, and I know the Packers took an offensive lineman at 25. Bakhtiari's retired or no longer on the team. They went out and got an O-lineman. But don't think for a second the Lions weren't thinking, we got to move up ahead of Green Bay to get Terrion Arnold because the Packers need a corner. A lot of people had mocked Cooper DeJean to Green Bay. They instead take a tackle. But I love this pick for the Lions. I really do. I'm not scared about Okuda vibes or anything else. No, I think this kid knows how to win, knows how to play. Not the biggest guy at 6 feet tall, not the fastest guy with a 4.5 40, but great ball skills, a really good tackler. I texted Jim Nagy tonight from the Senior Bowl. Tell you what Jim had to say because we value Jim's opinion so much on the show. And we had Jim on yesterday. By the way, we had Governor Gretchen Whitmer on, of course, yesterday as well, in case you missed it. I get some of you are mad at me because I had the governor on. It had nothing to do with politics. She's a football fan. She helped bring the draft here. So get over it. Jim said on Terrion Arnold, quote, I like it. Outside cornerback with good eyes, tackler, can finish. Only hole is lacks top makeup gear, but he rarely puts himself in position where he needs it. End quote. That's from Jim Nagy from the Reese's Senior Bowl, who scouts all of these players and has seen them all in person. Whew. All right. What a night, man. What a night. Some of you are probably as exhausted as I am. Who's available tomorrow? What if some of these players slid to 61? What would the Lions do? I'll give you some names of some very good football players still available in round 2. We will do that next. Let me make sure I know what my read is here. Yeah, we will do that next, coming up here on Locked On Lions. All right, folks, Locked On Lions brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. I posted on LinkedIn Jobs before. It's easy, hassle-free, and you get a bunch of good applicants right away. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job, but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. We mentioned stupid moves before. What is Buffalo doing? Can someone explain to me what the Bills are doing real fast? At number 28, Buffalo needs a wide receiver. They trade the pick to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs take Xavier Worthy, the fastest receiver in the history of the combine. So you're helping a rival in your conference who needs a receiver. You need a receiver, and you don't take one. I don't know. I thought that was dumb. That's just me. All right. Who could be available for the Detroit Lions tomorrow at number 61 in the second round? Late second round pick for Brad Holmes and company. Players still left on the board. Lions, we know, are looking for a wide receiver. Keon Coleman, Florida State, available. Ladd McConkey, who just fits the Lions narrative from Georgia, available. A.D. Mitchell, hard to believe that his teammate Xavier Worthy went ahead of him, but A.D. Mitchell's still out there. And Jalen Polk from Washington. We've seen Zach Frazier, the offensive lineman, mocked to the Lions out of West Virginia. He's still out there. So is Jackson Powers Johnson, if the Lions want to go with another offensive lineman. But again, these guys all could be gone by 61, but just bear with me. As far as defensive players that are still available, Western Michigan edge Marshawn Lynch was not drafted yet. Braden Fisk, whom Jim Nagy just raved about yesterday on the show, from Florida State, interior defensive lineman, available, as is Chris Jenkins from Michigan. Cooper DeJean, still out there. Kool-Aid McKinstry, still out there. The Lions are not going to take another corner, I wouldn't think, but you never know with Brad Holmes. Kingsley Suamataya, the cousin of Penei Sewell from BYU, the offensive tackle, also still out there. Some really good football players still available in the second round, and we'll see if any of those guys drop to number 61 in the second round for Detroit. Again, the Lions do not have a third round pick. I want to reiterate this again. Okay. This city, find me a better sports town than Detroit. Seriously. People talk about New York and Philly and Chicago, and I get that. There's some really good sports cities, all right? Some that have the four major teams, some that have multiple teams in a sport. You know, New York has the Rangers, the Islanders, the Devils are in New Jersey next door. You know, people talk about Chicago being such a great sports town. But tonight we showed in Detroit, with 275,000 people in the middle of that city, it was great. Like, that was awesome. And when they took Terrion Arnold, the place erupted. They went nuts, and the kid grabs the microphone on NFL Network, and he's saying, "We're, the goal is to win a Super Bowl." He was so excited to be here in his bow tie and his pink jacket. This was like a dream for some Lions fans. This was like heaven. So many Lions jerseys downtown, so many people excited. It's a draft. But yet, you guys showed up, were loud, set records for attendance. Nashville had a big crowd a couple years ago, and, Philly, no. This town loves its Lions. They go absolutely nuts and bonkers for their football team. And even when their football team was going 0-16 and everything was in the doldrums, y'all kept going back to Ford Field. You kept going back to the Silverdome during lean times. For some of our older listeners and viewers, Tiger Stadium, okay? Tonight just showed how wonderful this town is and how much they love their sports. Because, this was a draft. It wasn't like a game was being played. Yet there were close to 300,000 people downtown. And to get a player that they valued a lot, and he got a chance to celebrate with the fans, to get Terrion Arnold, I just thought that was so cool. So cool. So let's do it again tomorrow. Let's do it again on Saturday. Right now, the Lions only have one pick tomorrow in the second round. We'll see if they try to trade up and maybe package some picks to get into round 3 if there's any player that they feel fits the bill for them. But it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Brandon writes in on Twitter at Big House Go Blue. Just saw it was a 3rd round pick for Arnold. Hear me out, Derry speaks. Would Brad trade our number 2 pick, 2nd rounder, for Brandon Ayuk? That would be another aggressive move. Niners took a receiver tonight, Ricky Pearsall from Florida, who I did not think was going in the 1st round. Now apparently Ayuk's on the trade block. T. Higgins wants out of Cincinnati. Imagine the Lions packaging picks and picking any of those guys up tomorrow night. Oh my God. This town would go nuts. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts, right here on Locked On Lions. Special late night edition. We appreciate all of you for sticking with us. We'll be back again tomorrow night, late night, to recap rounds 2 and 3. Terrion Arnold, your newest Detroit Lion. Lions go corner in round 1.